We're back. The Horns are number one. This was crazy to me for the first time preseason in the history of the program, which I don't, we had never discussed it, Q, but I just assumed during your tenure that at one point that must have been the case, but I guess not. So, Quan, we'll start with you, Metcalf, and then we'll give you the floor. How do you guys feel about it? Not only obviously being fans right now and us covering it this year, but I guess, being a part of a group that really helped pave the way for this kind of thing to happen, all these years. Now it's one notch in the belt that I guess we hadn't had. And it always stuck with me when I think it was DJ that came on Q a couple years ago when he had graduated the year before you guys won the national championship. And we had asked him like, hey, did it kind of feel salty? Or, how did it feel to like be the year before they went? He's like, no, it felt amazing because I was a part of that. So Q with you, and
Yeah,
then you, Metcalf. Like, how does it feel to see this team be ranked number one preseason first time?
man, that's what DJ said when they won the first Rose Bowl. He said, "Nah, man, we started that. The way they worked, the culture they built, getting out of that country club perspective." He's like, "Man, I was a part of that national championship," and he's right. I mean, essentially, you appreciate that. So the closest thing, and I honestly, I had no idea either, especially because I mean, there's a time where Texas won it back to back, but really, we started number two, and that's the closest we were in my era. We ended up being number two my senior year, but man, we started like number 12. They didn't even really give us a lot of respect. So we end up beating a bunch of people and getting up there. So, really for me, that's what it's about. Starting number one is cool. Texas doesn't need a bullseye. They have it. You're in the SEC. You've been to two playoffs. Honestly, if you think about it, whether they won it or not, they're the only team that's been in the last two playoffs in a row. Sark talks a lot about that. And so they're on the map. Sam Elliger said it a little prematurely, but Texas is back now. But it's not just about being back, it's about proving it every single week. And sure, the coaches say it, AP say it, but you got to prove them right. And you got to go out there and play. It's going to be rough. You're starting out real. And the irony of it all is you're starting number one for the first time, but you're playing number two overall, who also is the same team that knocked you out of the playoffs. So, man, what a hell of a start to college football. We've been waiting on it, and we're real close to being at our happy place.
Yeah, what do you think, Metcalf?
Yeah, it's finally here. I'm finally, thank goodness. This is a dog time in sports, and there's nothing really to watch, especially if you're not a real baseball fan. There's nothing to watch, and so I'm happy that football is back. In my wildest dreams, I would have never thought that Texas has never been number one from the start. I mean, even going back to the days, like you said, when they were winning a couple national championships with Coach Royal and those guys, and then going into those seasons with Coach Akers when they had teams that were winning the Southwest Conference Championship, you would have never thought that they wouldn't have at least started number one to begin the season. During my time, there was no chance that was going to happen. I mean, I won 24 games there, and so we never had that ability to be up close and highly ranked like that. We finished one time at 17, but I won 24 games at Texas. And so when you're talking about all these teams like winning national championships or conference titles that you were gone from after, I feel good about it. When we won the national championship with Vince and those guys, I felt like I was there. I was a part of that team, even though I'm years removed from Texas, because I'm so ingrained to the university and being a part of the 40 acres that whatever happens on that field, I'm a part of it, whether we win or lose. I hurt just like those guys hurt because it's different for a guy who's actually been in the locker room. When you're talking about fans and everything, they love the school, they love the burnt orange, they love the team that's out on that field. But when you've been in that locker room on that field, whether you won games or lost games, you feel differently about it. And it burns in your heart if you lose, and you feel great when you win. And so, like you guys said, when we're winning, and hopefully we'll finish this deal this year. I mean, it's been a rough 2 years. We lost in the playoffs, but I feel like we are building headed in the right direction. We've been in a place where there were some dog years. we had
Yeah.
gotten back to what it looked like when I played. So now that we're out of that, we just got to keep this thing rolling and get better. And I don't feel like we have to win the national championship, but we got to put up a fight to do so.
Mhm.
Man, I want to touch on something real quick. You made a good point. One, the only reservation I have with them being number one, and Metcalf, I know you feel this, is those years, losing to Washington, because I felt like we should have won that one. Losing to Ohio State, I feel like we were right there and we could have won that one. It's not being able to do anything about it. That's the worst parts about it. And yeah, for somebody who's been in the locker room going, oh, damn, we're number one, and it feels good, but the main uncertainty is, one, the dog years, but two, we can't do anything to help. So that it's just a weird little perspective of once you've been in a locker room and you want to help. But kudos to Sark, staff, the whole kind of admin, because the process, we're ahead of process. That's two. We are ahead of the process. The fact that we went to two back-to-back, playoffs, we're not the most victory school because we want it all and want to win more and win championships. But Sark is going into year 5, and he's been to 2 playoffs back to back.
Mhm.
And now we have, of course, the hype of Manning. We have, and I don't want to jump the gun, but Manning is not why we're ranked number one. The talking heads are going to do that because he's a Manning. We're ranked number one because I think the last 8, 9 national champions had the number one defense in the country, or top 3. We should have, if not the number one, we should have number 2, number 3, top 3 defense in the country, even in the SEC. That's why we're ranked number one. And so Manning's cool. The quarterbacks, we know how that works. You're going to talk about the quarterbacks, and you're dang sure going to talk about them if they're a Manning. But that's why I'm fired up. So even though I feel a little weird because I can't help the offense, Metcalf dang sure would be helping the offense. I feel better because that defense is fire. I mean, they are real. And another thing you touched on, we don't have to win it. We want to and all that. I'm not on any level giving anybody a pass for this year. But there's a crazy piece. We are a bunch of sophomores and juniors. We could be even better next year, and we're ranked number one this year. So that's what I mean by being ahead of the, really, we're ahead of schedule. Kudos to the staff and the dudes on the field. And goodness gracious, I want them to win it because if they do, I think it's a back-to-back type thing. So I'm fired up,
You
man.
want them to win
You know
it.
what I'm saying? I want them to win it. I want them to kill it. And man, I love the hype because I'm fired up for it.